We stand as one, walk with thousands.
Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Dad Bods and Beers. We've got a fun one for you guys today. We've got one of our buddies that went with us to Belize, and we're going to get to introducing him in a minute.
He's a cowboy.
Well, today you're a cowboy. Yeah. But before we introduce him, we wanted to highlight our primary sponsor. As always, you guys are not any stranger to seeing us with the can of Ways. We need to check in with Justin and those guys and see who won the Ways for a year, because they ran a whole promo. These are awesome.
But it'll make you pee.
It will make you pee,
and you pee more than anybody I've ever met in my entire life.
We're gonna talk about how much. We're gonna talk about how much you pee when we get there. But yeah, so
every 10 minutes on the dot.
Maybe it was one of you guys because we ran it on our page as well. But somebody that either follows us or Justin Danger Nunley or the guys over at Ways won Ways Energy for a year based off of the promo that we ran in December. So. If not,
Sour Lime, that's all you need to get.
Check them out. They're literally the only energy drink, the only source of caffeine aside from my coveted Diet Dr. Pepper that I get. And I love it. There's 200 milligrams of caffeine. It's infused with vitamins and electrolytes. And it's freaking 5 calories. So it's right up there with hitting my 2026 goals. So check out Ways. My favorites, orange cream. I was going to bring you your other lime and I forgot.
Yeah, I get. So we all got like 30 plus cases. I have
we got
one.
A pallet.
Yeah, I have one of each flavor left, and I'm out. Besides those,
and I have
because you sponsored because they're a sponsor. They do.
Well,
they
I've also been to the Air Force. I work on the Air Force Base.
Okay,
and I've given it to some of the soldiers and stuff like that. And I let my kids have it. And Isaac took a whole peach one with him to school, to college, and I'm just like,
yeah, they sent us a pallet.
Oh wow!
With 1,500 on a pallet.
But I have a lot of I with what I do. I teach, and so I teach a lot of the veteran, not the veterans, the active duty, and the civilians who are veterans and stuff like that. And so I teach them, and so sometimes I bring a couple.
Well, if any of them need mortgage financing, we have great VA loans.
We're going to cut that out. You're not sponsored on the show.
But yeah, no, they sent us like 1,500, and I got a chunk. Tyson got a chunk, and then we brought a chunk of them here to the studio, and we do content. And literally, I drink them. They're like my pre-workout and stuff now. But yeah, go check them out. They're awesome. We love them. And Luke and Bubba and those guys that own the whole company. Him and Luke and his dad Bubba. When we did an event with them in Florida, and I had my first ever Ways, I ended up having too many. I didn't realize how much caffeine was in them.
Oh my gosh.
And we ended up after our event, we went to go get on a boat with them and just go ride around like the Gulf and stuff like that in Florida with them. And he looks at me and he goes, and I'm drinking one. He goes, and I'm like off my rocker. I don't remember how. And he just is like, boy, how many you had? And I was like, I think this is like 4 or 5. And he's like, I am cutting you off. And he's like a bartender, like a named Bubba.
You are about to have a heart attack.
Yeah. But so without further ado, I know we've been chatting for a while with our buddy here, but this is Clayne Edward Wayman. Wayman. I said it right. We're keeping that shit in there.
Is it
if
woman?
there's a whale, there's a Wayman.
Oh, that's good. Yeah. So Clayne Edward Wayman. And
It's just Clayne.
We took, I'm just calling you Clayne.
You call me Clayne.
Edward's a good middle name.
You know, just like my grandfather used to say, he would say, because I was named after my grandfather, and people would always get it mixed up too sometimes. And he's like, just call me whatever you want. Just don't call me late for dinner.
Yeah, I've heard that one. Yeah.
You probably heard that. It's oldest dad joke.
Yeah.
It's a grandpa joke at that point.
Named after your grandpa. Right. I had a buddy that I knew, and he was like the 5th. Like he was named after his dad, and then his dad, and his dad. I'm like, that's just annoying.
Yeah.
I'm like, it's cool, but
got to hand down the mantle.
See, I like the Danish heritage. Obviously, we're at the point now where you don't.
Is that just your penis size?
Yeah, I mean, it definitely helps. If you look it up, you might have thought that was a dick, but it definitely was not. But it obviously, since like you migrate to the United States, you don't change the surname anymore. But basically, like Peterson, Rasmussen, it was the son of like Peterson, like Logan Peterson would have been like I was the son of Peter. And then his would have been like, Peter Jensen, and he was the son of Jens. So your last name. So that's like if you watch Marvel or stuff like that, they call him Thor Odinson because his dad is Odin. So it's like that's kind of
all red because we had red hair.
Is that really what it is?
Mm-hmm.
Are your last name's all red?
It is.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
There's a whole polygamist group out here.
100%.
They call it the all red group.
We've talked about that.
And the prophet of that group is an all red.
Yeah.
No, I know. I've heard.
Yeah, my dad was
It's also
born
the
by
number
it.
one last name in the LDS community.
It's what?
The number one last name.
Even
My
more,
my
even
dad
more
was
than Smith.
the guy who
You know why?
birthed my dad was an Allred. The
So
doctor.
if you go to allredroster.com, someone
There's
told
a
me
roster?
where the Allreds, like, I swear, like, my doctor was Dr. Allred in Idaho.
Oh, wow.
And when Kenneth and I had our first son, Dr. Allred, I'm like, how are we related? And he's like, we're related somehow. Just go check allredroster.com. And I'm like, that's a thing. And I guess back in the day, Joseph Smith had told all the men that they need to marry many women for polygamy. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
And
I'm familiar with
the
that.
Allreds took that to heart. And he had 12 sons, and all 12 sons had like thousands of wives. And,
Wow.
And because of that there's a ton of Allreds.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, myallredfamily.com is another one.
It's everywhere. No, Allred is a huge last name. I liked it because at school, when I was a kid, I was always got to be the first one to do whatever.
Yeah.
Except Adams. It was freaking
Well,
Adams.
if you were, if you were always a big built like you are now, I mean, of course they're going to let you do
I've
it.
always been a big guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So now that we had a genealogy of all of our names, I started it. So you accompanied us to Belize, and that
Yeah.
was the first opportunity we had to meet and get to know you. And that was we did a whole. Actually, that's
I just pushed my glasses up with the microphone.
That's the episode that's actually running this week is our Belize recap.
Oh, I love that.
Can you believe it?
And I had an absolutely life-changing experience in Belize. I know that was not your first trip into the jungle. We'll get to that. But you're friends of Aaron and Illuminex and the whole and you knew Drew too. It's
Yep.
just there was the whole small world aspect when we were there. But we kind of, the first night after we got talking, and I wanted to kind of kick off with this, we had our first little after dinner, little mini men's group session. And it was made apparent to Tyson and I very quickly of like, oh, okay, Clayne is on the plane of,
And you know what
of
else we
emotional
learned?
intelligence, right?
Thank you.
We also learned the first night how much Clayne loves the food there.
Oh, yeah.
What am I missing? What
No,
am I-
us three. It was pretty much just
Oh,
us
yeah,
three.
we kept asking for seconds
It
and
was
thirds.
just
and,
us three. I don't think anyone ate as much as us
Okay,
three.
can you validate? Because our whole last episode, we talk about how good the food was. In a good
Food
my
was
gosh.
ridiculous. The soup was amazing.
It was absolutely amazing. So,
What was your favorite dish?
it's hard to say at this point which one, but I the first night they had this,
The taco soup?
the taco soup.
No, it was
taco
the
salad.
black.
No. It was the chicken. It was like
Yes.
this. It had a little bit of a chicken type of flavor.
You didn't like
into
the
the
black soup? Well, I can't remember what
The
it's
Black
called.
dinner.
the
Black dinner.
the black was
The
amazing.
black dinner.
All of
That
it
was peppery. I loved it.
yeah, all of it was so good that it was almost like want to fall out of your chair. So good.
And the
Oh, dude, the pot pie.
what was the sure, that was really good.
Yeah.
What was the I can't think of the fruit that we went to see, the farm.
Soursop.
Yeah, the
Soursop. That was amazing. The soursop
Yeah.
cheesecake.
Yeah, that was amazing.
So yeah, off the top of your head, what was your favorite meal? Breakfast, lunch, dinner, and then what was your favorite dessert?
I would say it was the dinner was the best. Like anytime all the dinners, every dinner
They're
was
insane.
Yeah. And then my favorite dessert was was it like a cheesecake type of thing? It was
So there was a soursop cheesecake, and then there was an Oreo cheesecake. that
okay.
she made.
It was a sour sauce.
Oh,
'Cause we had that
mine
night-
was
we
the
had that
carrot
night one.
cake.
Yeah,
What's
you
that?
loved the carrot
The
cake.
carrot cake was phenomenal.
I mean, all of it. It's hard to really rank it because all of it was truly.
He didn't
top
like
quality.
the olive oil cake, the one with the blue icing.
I couldn't finish it.
Oh, you didn't
Not
care
even-
about the ice cream?
Not even the
That was
first.
like elevated yellow cake with chocolate frosting for me.
No.
Like
It reminded me of something that would give me diarrhea.
Oh yeah,
everything gives you diarrhea.
nearly everything in the jungle. Will give you
This
that.
coming from a guy who broke a toilet seat.
Yeah.
So, but it was so awesome getting to know you there, and it was one of those situations where we just like you're thrown into the mix, and we got thrown into some crazy situations, and we've already recapped that whole episode. So if there was any highlights from that trip that you wanted to kind of bring up of your first experience with the dad bods guys, we'd love to, kind of get into that. You can take that however you want, but I wanted to just kind of kick it off of like, I didn't realize until we got to talking that I'm like, oh, you've spent some soul searching time. And you had this, I picked up really quickly. I'm like, oh, you see past the surface level of things. You see past the surface level emotions. You see past the surface levels of like why we do and say the things that we do, because you had some amazing insights multiple times throughout the trip, to a point where I even came to you after the first night and I'm like, hey, if we end up in any kind of situations, like I would not be opposed to you kind of taking the reins and helping us with like the emotional intelligence side of explaining some things.
Yeah.
So you can, I want to kind of get into as far back as you want to start or whatever, of like, you've lived in the Amazon, you've done all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
So who is Clayne to you? Who are you to you? Who are, you know what I mean?
Who is
Who be
Clayne?
you?
Who is you? Who is I?
I is me.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, it's, labels are labels, and, we're so much more than just a label. And I know I use the analogy of the garden quite a bit.
You did. Yeah.
Yeah. And the purpose of the garden is simply to bring us back to fundamental reality. And so, I've had lots of experience with that. And I grew up on just a small little taste. I grew up on a small little family farm. We had cows, pigs, chickens, and children. And what I mean by children is, we had a very large family. My dad had 4 wives, and there were 45 kids. No, he was a Wayman.
Yeah, he's a Wayman. We had a whole discussion.
It was a joke.
But in Allred was the doctor who delivered him.
Shut up.
For real. They called him
You guys
Dr.
literally
Allred.
have your hands in everything.
We do.
Everything. Yeah. So I was always faced with hard work. So never, my dad used to joke around and goes, "I'm not afraid of hard work. I'll just lay right next to it." And
That's a good one. I've never heard that one.
I'll lay
I've
right
heard
next.
some of the other ones. I have never heard that one.
Yeah, he died April of 2024 with 5 wives at the time he died.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
How many kids total?
So he didn't have any children with his 5th wife. But in total, it was 45.
Holy.
My grandpa, we just celebrated the 3rd anniversary of his death, which the grandfather that I'm named after. And upon his death, he had 12 wives. He had as many as 15, but 3 had preceded him in death. And so there's a lot of unique family dynamics that I experienced. So when you talk about soul searching, and so I got to experience what it's like to really have community. Mm-hmm. And for me, I eventually, I'd like to say, graduated from that particular ideology, and what really became
And how was that
apparent for me.
accepted?
How was that accepted?
Yeah,
Because I've heard.
Yeah, we could go down that rabbit hole.
If that's okay, no, just because you've told me, but I don't know if people understand like how harsh it is.
When you leave that culture, it's not just where you go to church on Sunday. It's an entire lifestyle. Like everything is shaped by that perspective. And so when you leave, you're considered, like I'll just tell you a quick story. This will answer your question. I gave a call to the president of the religion, and which in some churches would be the equivalent of the prophet.
Yeah.
And we had an hour-long conversation on my departing conversation. And I shared this story in my book, Echoes of Resounding Love. I published a book in 2022.
Yeah, we'll link that on this for sure.
And one of the comments that he made, which, I don't fault him for it because this was his perspective. And he said, "Hey, will you consider something while you go on your journey?" And I said, "Sure." And he says, "Consider that the devil has won for you."
Ugh.
And
How'd that sit with you? Can I interrupt you for a second?
and how'd it sit with me? I knew something like that was coming.
Yeah.
And I had enough experiences and grounding to know that, for me, that just wasn't true. And so it was just like water off a duck's back.
Do you feel like that's it all like...
But that showed me where he was. And
do you feel like that's all dismissive of like maybe the journey that you went on to make that decision?
Yeah, it's an all-inclusive way to dismiss everything that you have to say.
Sure.
And so
Logan and I were
get
involved.
delegitimized immediately.
Logan and I were involved. I'm not going to say who or what it was with, but we decided we weren't going to do that particular thing with this individual. Mm-hmm. And if I say it more than that, it'll give it away, and I don't want to be any or harm to this person.
I'm over here trying to figure out who you're talking about.
And as we decided not to do this, he said Satan has won.
Oh, I know who you're talking about.
Right.
Yeah.
And
it's super dismissive. It's almost kind of like everything that you've been through to make that super hard. And it's not easy decisions. In any situation, like what we went through and what you went through, it's just kind of like, oh, okay, so screw me then.
Yeah.
I can't
It's
make
like
my own
we
decisions.
have our own decisions, and this is what's best for
And
us.
it's almost like makes you look like you're weak. Like
Right.
you were just, you were deceived, and that's why you can't make your own decisions.
Right. Yeah. That's
So-
effectively what that statement says. And, I just chuckle at it.
Sure.
But at the same time, that's where he is in his evolution.
Sure.
And where I am right now, I just respect that that's where he is. And I actually hold love for that community as well. And
should.
I
They're
wish
your family.
I wish the absolute best for them. And so by talking about it isn't anything to diminish them. I feel like that's just their path.
It's just part of your story too.
Yeah,
there's
and
nothing
it's
wrong
part of
with that.
and it's part of my story as well. It has shaped me. It shaped my worldview up until I finally left. It took me about 8 years to unravel the psychological process before I made the decision, because I saw a lot of people who left where they'd go off the deep end with drugs and alcohol and other things, and their life would become worse. And so because I saw that pattern, it took me about 8 years to really make sure my life was in a solid, stable
more
foundation.
intentional,
Oh, it was incredibly intentional.
Sure.
Research. And that opened so many can of worms during that. You got to find out that the programming exists far deeper than just what's found in religion. It's in society. It's in politics. It's in marketing. It's because it's intended.
we communicate.
It's in scrolling of your phone, the algorithms. I mean, it's all to hook you, and so it's just a different face packaged, just in a different genre.
So I kind of wanted to back up a hair, right?
Yeah.
Because you were talking about it's different than just religion, right? Because this is, you're almost, correct me if I'm wrong, just from from other people I know who have kind of left the polygamous upbringing, right?
Yeah.
It's part of like, it's like a whole different society, right? And you're kind of, are you like secluded from?
You follow a lot of
Regular
the
Are you like The
society?
Village? Is what
Yeah.
he's saying?
That's
From M. Night
I love
Shyamalan?
that movie.
So it depends on where you are. I mean, like growing up, we weren't allowed to really leave our property, my dad's property, and they usually have it fenced in, type of a thing. There's some people that live on that might define something like that as a compound or something like that. But because I grew up in Salt Lake City, we didn't have per se a compound, other than my grandfather had a huge, big estate, and people called it a compound sometimes. But it's always fenced in, very private. Everybody had their own separate places as far as in Salt Lake City, but down in Arizona, in Colorado City, Arizona, where the main headquarters are, there's communities that live together. Your neighbors are,
neighbors
your
are part of
fellow,
it,
are all part of the program. So
what happens after you leave? Then
So, and
you'll
like,
get
how
to
old
that.
are you? What time frame is this?
okay, so I officially left in 2017.
Oh, okay.
And right now it's 26, year 26. I turned 42. I'll turn 43 in 26.
Oh, nice.
And so that's the time frame. So fast forward to today, I like to bring people back into the present, because the present is the only thing we can really work with. I like to look at the past as just a reference point. Maybe there's a lesson that can be learned from the past, but your future is shaped by what you do now in the present. And so I like to bring my attention back to the present. And the present is, I like to just bring people to fundamental reality as it is. And I often refer to that as the garden life itself.
And you're referring to the garden, like the Garden of Eden type garden, right?
Not necessarily.
Okay.
It could be framed that way, but I'm calling all of life as the garden.
Okay.
Like as humans, we're part of the garden.
Give me the, I don't like, I've been spending time with you in Belize and hearing that reference multiple times, right? Give me a little bit more of a breakdown of what you mean. Like what's the analogy behind the garden of somebody who may not grasp the concept yet? Because I wanted to talk about that a little bit more.
So garden isn't a lot of the great spiritual teachers, from Christ to Buddha and to mystics and Sufis, they'll use the garden as a metaphor.
Okay.
What's slightly different with what I'm doing is I'm not calling the garden a metaphor. I'm saying it's the subject matter of what is. Mm-hmm. And so it's not just semantics, it's fundamental reality is what I mean by that. And what I mean by that is your thoughts are very much like seeds. What you plant, you'll have a harvest. Like if you're constantly focusing on a certain thought pattern, you'll grow that type of life. And so when I say refer to the garden, I'm talking to just about all of life.
Like garden, like cultivating a garden.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's almost like
all- the
manifestation
earth.
is what you're talking about.
Yeah, yeah. Everything is manifested through a certain
Like you
laws
plant
of
that
life.
idea, and then that's all you can think
Well,
about.
everything
That's
in
all you
life
work on.
functions by order and law. You may not understand it. Even in chaos, it looks like it's not functioning by law when it is. So, for example, a seed, it fractures and then it rots in the soil. It might look like chaos, but it's actually in order to return back to the soil. And so life functions through order and law and through structure. Like when we were in Belize, we sat down the river, and there was one of the other guys. We connected. Even in rivers, without the structure of the riverbanks, there wouldn't be a river. And one of the most magnificent thing that we saw with the waterfall is without structure, there would be no waterfall.
Waterfall is cool.
And so even water itself creates structure as it flows. Now structure doesn't mean control. And so that's just one aspect of it. Some people might call it the yin and the yang type of.
So can I ask you a question? Roy?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
using that theory, right?
Yeah.
Or not even necessarily a theory, right? It's just
a
it
way
is
of
what it
seeing the
is,
world.
right?
Yeah.
So like nature will find its own structure.
Yeah, it does.
So it's like, is that kind of like structure will be found one way or another?
Yeah.
It just depends on where you put your focus. Like it's natural for like water to find its structure, for trees, for plants, like kind of given the garden analogy. Is that the same? Do you feel like, correct me if I'm wrong,
Yeah.
same thing in your life of like,
Yeah.
you're going to find structure one way or another, whether it's structured in the wrong way or structured in like a productive way?
Yeah, there's structure that supports life, and then there's structure that doesn't support life.
Okay.
Yeah. And what I ultimately found is the religion that I came from didn't ultimately have structure where your spiritual overflow could happen. That's to put it in a more of a poetic way. It kind of repressed the
Spiritual
life.
overflow.
Yeah.
I like that. I've never thought about that, because one thing I've learned is there's a difference between spirituality
Yeah. You can
and all that. Yeah.
you can have structure that represses, like, for example, there's structure that says, oh, it's only this way. And so where spirituality is a relationship with everything, it's a direct relationship.
I like to call it holistic.
Yeah.
It's a very holistic point of, like, a viewpoint of it, rather than, because sometimes, like he was saying, spiritual, like people who think spirituality sometimes think religion, and that's not the
Right.
case.
Well, I would say there's nothing more holistic than a garden.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Everything holistic grows from the garden. Everything.
You can grow some pretty cool stuff too.
Yeah, exactly. So I call Mother Earth the garden.
Oh, okay.
And there's just some words that are so some words like garden is intention. Garden, like just think of all the different words there are. Garden is one of those words that just speak to so many things, and it speaks to everybody in their own language. Doesn't.
So can I ask you,
Yeah.
in your life, are you the garden or are you the gardener?
Both.
Oh, okay.
We're a product of the garden, and we all started from a seed in our mother's womb.
Interesting.
Yeah, we all followed the laws of the garden, is what I say, and so
Quite literally. Yeah.
Yeah, quite literally. And so we are the garden,
So
and then
how
we also
can
are
this
the
help
gardener.
someone listening? Because right now, to me, we're explaining, but how can this really help someone
Yeah,
listening?
that's a
Every relationship, every business, everything you want to do follows the function and laws that govern life. And so if for example, I'm in mortgage finance, planting seeds in mortgage finance is like calling prospects and telling them that I can do mortgage loans. I'm planting seeds. And then the harvest is taking people through that loan process and getting them into their home, and then I get a paycheck. And so everything is planting, cultivating, and harvest. Every business can find its way. And then if you want to talk about scalability in
But
business,
see, when you say garden planting seeds, that sounds like nice and relaxing. Then you say, no, I'm calling him. That just sounds like work.
hate gardening.
well, I'm here to tell you, if you've ever been a gardener, you'll know it is hard work.
Yeah.
Bro, I can't get anything.
Like growing up on a farm bucking hay at 12 years old.
Yeah.
I grew up in Idaho.
There's a lot of potatoes out
Yeah,
there.
no, I grew up in the capital. Not capital of Idaho, but capital. We had Spud Day, and we would celebrate Spud Harvest, and we get 2 weeks off so that everyone in the town could go like harvest this potatoes.
This is making sense to me, this whole analogy, quite literally, because it's like it's a miracle my kids are as well off as theirs because of my wife. Because it's like when my kid brought home his kindergarten pumpkin seed in a cup that they germinated and sprouted or whatever. I'm the guy 2 years in a row dead.
Yeah.
I can't even grow a pumpkin that they send home with kindergartners.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh, no wonder my garden's rotting.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that makes sense.
Exactly. Yeah.
No, so I like that analogy, and I like that you said like it's literally planting, cultivating, and harvesting.
Yeah.
So this obviously didn't happen overnight. This perspective, you getting to hear the whole upbringing, but the one thing I want to get to is you had some pretty interesting stories that you only kind of like touched on when we were in there, right? You talked about. I mean, this wasn't like you went to the Amazon once, right? You've been on some literal and figurative and even like psychedelic journeys to find this plane that you're on.
Yes.
So what was? I mean, you can give us like the most like the coolest versions, or like I did some time here or whatever. But like I kind of want to hear about the Amazon. Because the Amazon seems like those things you only like. Oh, you watch some stuff at the Amazon
and did you pee as much as you did in Belize and Amazon?
Yeah, you peed a lot.
Did I pee as much?
And did you also wear jeans and nice button-down shirts on your jungle walks on the Amazon?
Were you bedazzled in Amazon?
I gotta respect your style because I mean the rest of us are in like shorts and like dirty tennis shoes and like cut off sleeve shirts, and you're over there in this like nice floral button-down and jeans and like moccasins.
No, but for real, we're in like some like harsh environment areas, and you're just like, "What's up, everyone?"
He's like, "I'm one with the jungle, bitch." Get out of here.
Well, I don't have any jungle scars. I try to wear long, loose clothes, even though jeans sometimes aren't necessarily long and loose. It usually keeps bugs away. It keeps protected. Also, there's a lot of sun, and so it keeps you. You know, the one day that I took my son off or took my shirt off to the river, I got scorched.
You burned.
Oh, you did.
So
I got
fast.
so scorched.
Yeah, and it was like,
and
an
I was
hour?
regretting it when I took off the shirt. I'm like, oh, I'm probably going to pay for this over the next week.
It was a cool place.
And
That's where I hit my head a million times, right?
Yeah, but then
you're talking about the pools?
Yeah.
But then the massage therapist had this aloe vera, and I would say the aloe vera saved me.
Yeah.
Because she put the
That
aloe
was
vera on
obviously
me.
very brave of you to
Does
go
she
get a
breathe
massage.
really?
Looking
Does
like
she
a
breathe
lobster.
really loud
Well, the
to you?
massage ended up being putting aloe vera on me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that was
She breathed so loud when
didn't-
she was giving me a shot. I'm like, am I that big?
I think it just has to do with your body size.
She went to Chrissy and Lance after that, like, I need a raise.
Yeah. So the Amazon jungle, I would say there's no greater garden in the world than the Amazon.
Oh, it's massive.
There's no greater plant diversity like there is in the Amazon jungle.
No, that is true.
Yeah,
There's a lot of stuff that's not discovered yet.
absolutely. There are tribes that are uncontacted.
Well, didn't there was a
by
new
But
thing
you
I read.
can't. It's illegal, right?
There's a new thing I read that like Brazil or somebody they just passed some new law that basically opens up even more protected land for native tribes.
Native tribes. Yeah. Yeah, there's been a lot of deforestation happening in the Amazon, mostly on the Brazil side. And so a lot of my excursions have been on the Peru side. Mm-hmm. To give you a perspective of the Amazon rainforest, if the Amazon rainforest was in the United States, it would cover 48 of our states.
Oh, wow.
Dang.
So give you the
And there's only 48 continental.
yeah, and so they call it the lungs of the earth. They say that the oxygen it
'Cause of the
produces
trees.
about 20% of the world oxygen through the jungle, through the Amazon jungle, and the Amazon River is the largest river in the world. Like they take ocean liner ships out there to fish every single morning.
And that's where they
go
have
fishing.
the mix, right? Where one's dark and one's light, and they
Isn't there a mix of like
kinda
fresh and salt water at one point?
where they kind of
they're-
separate.
I can't really comment on that, but I've spent a lot of time on the Amazon River, and the Amazon River is a very murky, muddy-looking water. The dolphin, because there's no salt in it, the dolphins in the river are
Pink,
pink.
aren't they?
Yeah, and
I mean, I get that.
yeah, what's that? You know what's crazy is all the
Trying to get the joke.
yeah. So I've been traveling to the jungle sometimes for weeks and sometimes for months ever since 2018.
Good for you.
That's cool.
Yeah, and
Have you seen Lost City Z? Have you seen that movie?
I haven't seen that movie.
Yeah, you'll have to watch it. It's a pretty good one. It's about basically like early on explorers
Yeah.
trying to find lost.
So
yeah.
when you're there, are you with? When you're with, who are you there with? What are you learning? Why are you there for
I
so
typically
long?
travel alone.
Okay.
You're bold, dude.
But who are you with? Meaning you're visiting places. Is
Yeah,
there,
so I'm visiting
or is there like a
places.
shaman or
Yeah, so
what's
I'm
going
visiting places. I'm going to see a tribe. I'm usually connecting with an indigenous tribe. I shouldn't say usually. I am. So I do every time I go.
on? And that's legal.
so
like you're going to places that know that like outside exists.
Yeah, you only know about it through connection and through through word of mouth type of thing. And so I go alone typically. Unless this last April of 24, I took a group down there.
And
so
do you have
every
a
once in a while I'll take
translator?
there's usually a translator part of the group. And
What do you learn?
so I've worked a lot with the Shipibo tribe, and so they literally speak their native tongue, which is Shipibo, and then Spanish is their second language.
Okay.
And so poquito español. So I speak a little bit of Spanish myself, just to make enough to make myself a little bit dangerous. And there's so the Spanish is quite often their second language. There's some of the tribe members where they don't know Spanish, and so they only know their native tongue, and so there has to be like an intermediary, and there usually is. I've never gone when there hasn't been a translator. There's usually somebody there, and so I'll go there. Even though I'm traveling alone, I'll usually meet up with a group and meet up with a native shaman and go into the jungle and have some profound life-altering experiences.
So I've always been very interested. Right.
Yeah.
I've microdosed with psilocybin. Right.
Psilocybin, magic
I've never done a
mushrooms,
full like hero's journey or anything like that. Right.
Yeah.
Or hero's dose. I've had ketamine therapy through therapist and doctor guidance, not just like Secret Lives of Mormon Wives did a ketamine session and was like, oh, I'm changed. But like, no, like, and then that's the most that I've done on any level of like psychedelic, right? But one thing that's always interested me is these ayahuasca journeys that you hear everybody talk about. And these are not ones like, oh yeah, I went and did ayahuasca at my friend's house. This is whole like, you got to only travel where it's legal. And it's like, there's like a whole preparation.
Yeah.
And like, it's not like a, you get in there and you do it. So can we kind of go through what's like the other side of it of kind of like, what are you learning? What are you experiencing?
so
What's the hype behind it?
Okay, so I guess the first piece I could talk about what is ayahuasca.
Yeah.
And talk about just the mechanics piece. And then I'll say, why are people doing it?
I love it.
So
Let's
I could
do
do so the first piece, I'll just say, what is it? So this is considered one of the most powerful psychedelics known
It's
to
like
man.
naturally occurring.
Yeah. The word psychedelic didn't exist until the 1950s. They just consider it plant medicine or a master plant teacher.
Okay. So is that kind of like a buzzword? Almost kind of
So
like
psychedelic is something that we invented.
kind
call
of like
that.
the satanic panic of the 80s. Like you're just like making it bigger than it needs to be.
No, it's not necessarily making it bigger than it needs to be. It was actually 1951 when that word first came out, psychedelics. They don't refer to ayahuasca. The native tribes don't refer to it. They call it a master plant teacher.
Master plant teacher. Okay.
And so from our world view in the Western world, can you imagine being taught by a plant? I mean, that we're so arrogant about nature that we're like, I don't think so. Until you drink ayahuasca and you're like, oh yeah.
Oh, so you drink it.
It's a brew.
Oh, okay.
So ayahuasca is a brew of two different plants: the Banisteriopsis capi vine, which is also the vine that they call the vine of the soul or the vine of the dead, because it connects you to that transition where it happens when you die. And I can go into that.
Ooh, that like gives me anxiety just
And then
thinking about it.
then there is another plant called the Chacruna plant, which they put with it. So it's two plants that they boil together, and it takes about 12, 14 hours to make the brew. And it's this thick, dark, muddy-looking sludge, and it gets worse tasting the more often you drink it.
So you don't like develop a taste for
yeah,
it.
so-
You develop a hatred for it.
You do, yeah, right, right.
It's not an acquired taste. It's like
Yes. And so here's what's profound with so that's the mechanics.
Well, how much do you drink of it?
That just all depends.
Oh, okay.
Because I guess there's no like there's no dude of like, oh, this is this many the measurement. It's just like whoever made it.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah.
And they're going off of trusting your gut recipe and not.
Yeah. There's some cultures like in Colombia who call this yahe.
Okay.
And the difference between ayahuasca and yahe is ayahuasca, they break the bark off. Yahe tradition, they don't break the bark off. And so ayahuasca,
So one's crunchy and one's smooth.
ayahuasca, they call it this they'll call it the grandmother or mother. They'll often refer to it as mother ayahuasca because they'll call it the feminine presence of the divine or the feminine presence of God. And when you drink it, you literally do feel a divine presence, and sometimes you see the divine presence and it's common to have a dialogue with it. And I'll get more into those specifics in a minute.
I love that.
Yahe is more balance between masculine and feminine. They don't call it mother or father. They call it Yahe. They look at it. It's the union of the masculine and the feminine, and so they consider in that culture they consider Yahe God. And the seed of God in their culture is the union of masculine and feminine. And so that brew itself is you're drinking the consciousness of the divine.
See, I love that you're getting into this because it's like this is where it goes from like fad-ish, like it's a fad, like some people are like, oh, I went and did an ayahuasca journey versus like, no, like kind of like you said, the mechanics of it.
Yeah. So you're dealing with a profound intelligence, and the intelligence knows your intentions, the truth. No matter when I say that, you can't lie to it. You can bring. So, for example,
Because it's you.
Yeah, it's you.
Yeah.
So if somebody's there just to let's see what cool visions.
Oh, you're gonna get messed up.
I've been in the jungle where somebody had done 5 ceremonies and
Is that a lot?
never had any visuals, never had really any experience.
Interesting.
And then here I am, and my intention was show me truth. And then people that are really honest, not just with their voice, but embodied truth. And you're like, hey, I really want to just know. And you're like, I just want to know. And you're in that state of surrender to the truth. It'll show you. And I've had so many profound experience. I've had well over 100 different types of experiences with the medicine over the years. And I detail a lot of these experiences in my journals. And so I also have voice recorded the journals. And so I have lots of material subject for writing my book. So where does the garden come from?
Sure.
It comes from right out of those experiences.
Oh yeah, I can imagine. Yeah.
Yeah. And so when you drink it, so I'll just give you the logistics of it. So you show up, you're in the jungle. They do it at night. They do, and the serotonin levels in your brain are the highest at night. And so for whatever reason, the molecules inside ayahuasca or yahe function best with the serotonin receptors in your brain. And so the experiences are far more powerful. The experiences for, I would say, 93% of people are at the level of the most significant experience of your life. Oh. I have witnessed people that have no belief in God. I've witnessed people that have had drug addictions, alcohol addictions, who go there and are singing divine praises to the great Lord after drinking ayahuasca or yahe, because a lot of religions, their focus is belief, and you can't believe yourself to drinking water, and you can't believe yourself to having an experience with God. And ayahuasca or yahe gives you an opportunity to sit and commune with the divine. It gives you.
So does that give you more of like? So this is kind of like where my theory with spirituality and like creator and things like that is more of like, it's more of like the energy and the consciousness and like that like I said, like kind of like that divine energy that it's like that's where everyone's connected with your creator and not so much one person speaks for it here and there.
Yeah, the shamans are not your intermediary between you and your source, where like a lot of priests, like the religion that I came from, the priested order is what they would call it, where your intermediaries are the voice of God on earth.
Sure.
And when you're in the jungle, the shamans are there to simply prepare the space. You're in a maloka, which is dark at night. They call it their holy temple. They call it a maloka. You come dressed in white. They won't turn you away if you're not in all white. It's usually a good idea to just wear lighter colors. There's some people that don't, and that's fine. I typically honor that just because white typically allows you to stay in your energy and not absorb the energy of other people. And so the shaman, they're literally there to hold the space so that you can have your own communion with source.
And is it ever a bad experience?
Yeah, absolutely. Especially when you found out you're a dipshit in your life.
Yeah.
Been there. Yeah.
Yeah. And so ayahuasca, like for example, you know, if you're having stuff that's difficult in your life that keeps resurfacing, she'll take you to the roots of it. And sometimes the roots of it is because you've been a dumbass. And sometimes
A
you
lot of
have to
self-inflicted stuff.
You have to and when I say that is it's not to judge you in the sense of being a dumbass. It's not to shame you, guilt you, or anything. It's kind of like saying, hey, you know what? You know, it's probably not a good idea to keep. You can name the behavior, whatever it is.
Well, a lot of the behavior now, for instance, let's say I'm full of shame, so I continue doing certain X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
And so I would think, like for me, I'm doing X, Y, and Z, so that's why I have shame, where in fact it was something when I was 7 years old that has led me to start thinking that X, Y, and Z is okay, and that's what's caused it. So does it lead you to that, or does it lead you to when you're 6 or 7 years old?
For me, ayahuasca showed me that when you lead a life of integrity, all of shame goes away.
Oh.
And so if you're coherent in your truth and integrity, shame just naturally vaporizes.
And does it stick?
Does what stick?
When you after you're done and you forgive?
It sticks if you embody it in your life. And so ayahuasca can show you these profound things. It's up to you how you change. So for example, if there's something you did and you needed to go correct something in a relationship, whether it's with your children or whether it's with a loved one, a spouse or whatnot, it's up to you to do the action. Ayahuasca is not going to do the action. And so
the reason why I'm asking this is because I have done a lot of work on me, like a lot of work, and it's been really, really difficult. And I have forgiven a lot of things that have happened to me, and I have no resentment. But the problem is I'm 46 years old, and those things happened early in my life, and so I have lived a life that has been skewed to a way where I live a certain way because that happened, and that belief system happened. And now I have to learn how to say, it's okay if I do this. It's okay if I believe this. It's okay. And the reason why I say that is because it's almost like I'm full of shame and despair because I'm fighting against what I was led to do my whole life. I don't know if that makes sense.
It does make sense. Your nervous system imprints what things that have occurred. Ayahuasca helps cleanse your nervous system. And so if you have imprinting of shame, guilt, and resentment, there's an opportunity to look at that to literally cleanse it. And so part of the cleansing can be difficult experiences such as vomiting. And part of ayahuasca, they're not just profound experiences. There's also a physical element to it as well. Your body, like your body can ache. You can feel like you're having a fever. You can sometimes shake and not know why you're shaking.
Kind of get that like anxiety sinking feeling a little bit, or
and so contrary to how Western medicine works, Western medicine usually numbs symptoms. Ayahuasca is a type of jungle medicine that goes down to the roots of it to pull it out. And so these things that imprinted on you and your nervous system that happened from years ago that are still present in your nervous system even today, ayahuasca will actually go in and help release those things.
Interesting.
because correct me if I'm wrong, but some of my understanding and like kind of like trying to study and look into the way the nervous system works and how it literally affects your daily life.
Yes.
Is that the nervous system is not, it's unbiased. Its whole job is to keep you exactly where you are as much as it possibly can.
Bring you to
that's
homeostasis.
That's where it's considered this is where I am the most safe.
Yeah.
If I don't improve and I don't regress, I am safe here. Nothing more, nothing less can happen. But like you said, that's almost kind of like, that's chaotic structure sometimes. If we went through something in our life that was super traumatic and it can shape you for years, Tyson's got a whole level of it. I do. You might. I mean, Cole. Everybody has
all of us
something
do.
that's happened.
Trauma
right?
has an imprinting that happens. Absolutely.
And so that's why it's like sometimes I'm like, it's almost like when I did my ketamine journeys or whatever, there was this one time where it was almost kind of like I had this conversation with little Logan and future Logan and me currently.
Yes.
And it was almost kind of like, it was almost like this fourth presence somewhere. Mm-hmm. And as we're talking, I'm over here kind of like, that was that son of a bitch, my nervous system, watching in the back of the room, trying to figure out where it's going to weasel its way back in to avoid this change that I'm trying to accomplish.
I see a lot of benefits with ketamine. I've experienced it a little bit as well.
Sure. It's a little bit more
The
like
difference between
Western.
the difference between ketamine and ayahuasca, as far as the experience goes, is I don't feel like ketamine's hollow. There's not an experience. There's not a spirit. Where when you drink ayahuasca, it is not hollow. It's
Also, isn't
incredibly
ketamine
potent.
like manufactured,
It's
man-made?
synthetic, isn't it?
Yeah, it's made in a lab.
So okay, just because from who I
like
am
that.
and all this, we have people who don't do drugs, who don't believe in drugs, don't believe in certain things, right? How is ayahuasca compared to any like day-to-day drug? And then what is it addictive? Is it going to hurt you? Like all that kind of stuff. I am just
Great question. I think it's an awesome question to ask. It's only in a drug category because that's where the United States put it in the 1970s. Prior to that, it was simply
You said it's medicine, right?
yeah, it's just considered medicine. And let's just be clear here: there are a lot of drugs that are prescriptions that are dangerous. And
100%.
in fact, a doctor can give
I
you
have
a
stories
drug,
to tell you.
and you could get a DUI just by taking your doctor's recommended prescription
and now,
drug.
And now with the new laws in Utah, they really screw you over.
Yeah. So yes, but it's classified in the United States as a Schedule I drug, and it's banned. It's outlawed here. It's because of the dimethyltryptamine, the DMT. But DMT as naturally occurs in the human lungs and also in the pineal gland in your brain, and so you're effectively walking around right now in this room with
Like minute traces.
in fact, some of the yogic traditions is actually to induce that as well. So you actually have technically illegal substance in your body right this present just by being a human being.
Well, it's just trace. We have trace amounts of everything.
I don't know about everything. I don't think I have trace amounts of meth in me or
I do.
Have you ever?
I took so much Adderall, there's still got to be some in there.
No, but is it addictive?
anti-addictive.
Okay.
Well, like you said, it gets worse. The more you drink, the more worse
There
it
are
tastes.
so many times when you drink it and you go,
I'm never
sit
doing
back.
this again.
Yeah, still the words like, I will never
you're-
do this. And when it starts coming on, you're like, why in this Sam hell, God, did I decide to do this?
I had
Because-
that experience with something else.
How long does it last?
So it depends. Depends on the person, but it's pretty common, 3 to 5 hours ish.
So for me,
I thought
it'd
you were
be
about
like-
to say days, and I'm like,
no.
my
So for me,
stomach
it's like
dropped.
30 minutes because I like digest and like dude,
Heat
I
synthesizes.
I've
drugs.
also worked with
I-
I've also worked with Colombian shamans where they'll start the ceremony in the night, like 9 to 10 o'clock at night, and go all night till like 5, 6 in the morning.
oh wow.
And they'll give you multiple cups of it. So it depends on the tradition as well.
Tyson's over there with it's like Diet Coke from McDonald's. He's just got like ayahuasca, and he's just like drinking it through a straw. He goes and synthesizes
No,
so
but
fast.
legit, like I got surgery, like,
Yeah.
and I wake up in the middle of
Yeah.
it because my body just like, and they're like, nope, got to put
Yeah.
it back.
Sounds like a
And I want to
Final
clarify this
Destination
one
movie.
note too. The natives don't call themselves shamans.
No.
Yeah. It depends on which tribe. Like Shipibos, they're curanderos. They're also, if you're a master, like in Spanish, if you're a female, the maestra, and then their name, and then maestro, if you become a master, because a shaman,
teacher.
a shaman are effectively masters, and doctors are teachers, and that's what they ultimately are in the jungle. And then in the Colombian, might call them taitas.
We got to experience a very spiritual experience in Belize. Would that gentleman be considered a shaman?
The Mayan ceremony.
I didn't want to. I didn't want to
Mayan
bring up any type of religion or anything because I know it's sacred, and so I don't want
Mayan
to.
shaman. I believe he was a Mayan shaman.
Okay.
Yeah,
That was cool.
yeah.
That was a cool experience.
That was that. Oh yeah, that was very cool. So he was touching that territory. So if we were in the jungle, you'd have kind of an experience like that, and then you'd drink the medicine.
Okay.
Oh, so that was kind of like
So
the,
in the ceremony,
the precursor.
that
to
was
like,
that was the pregame show.
yeah.
Yeah.
In comparison.
I felt bad at the beginning because I thought this was more of a show, and I didn't realize I'm like, oh, this is a thing.
Oh, kind of like you go to Hawaii and you're watching a luau.
Yeah.
It wasn't just a performance; it was an
yeah,
embodied
and I didn't realize that at
ceremony.
the beginning.
So we talked all about all that stuff, the ayahuasca, and I didn't want to make this whole episode about that. We got about 10 minutes left, and I wanted to ask you. So you've had your experiences in the jungle and the Amazon and all of the, you can tell how much your heart is in this. Not just like I went to the Amazon one time.
There's
or
a lot
like,
of love.
I went to Belize one time, right? It's like, this is, we kind of scratched it of like, ooh, I could do this more.
Yeah.
Because it was like, I want to learn more about myself and about like, for me, I've been to Canada and Hawaii and then some other, and then just a handful of like states, you know, in the continental United States.
I've been to
Never even
Belize.
been to Mexico, but like going to Belize was like I'm like, oh my gosh, there's a whole freaking world out here. And then going into the jungle, literally 2 hours deep from the airport under the canopy of the jungle. And all of a sudden like this little ghetto hideout in there and the swing and floating down a river full of piranha and going in the cave. And I'm like, I am not doing enough with my life. Like I am not I haven't searched enough. And I feel like Tyson and I have both done a lot of soul searching as much as we kind of can here. And so like, that's why I want to talk to you about this is because I'm like, you seem ridiculously chill every time I talk to you. Right.
you.
And I don't know if that's just a personality thing.
No,
or
he
the
just
fact that I
emptied his bladder.
What?
He just emptied his bladder.
Yeah. Or the fact that I just, I don't know if it's a personality thing or the fact that I regularly down 200 milligrams of caffeine 2 or 3 times a day.
Yeah.
But like, I love talking about these type of things because in my past life, X amount, 8-9 years ago, when I was really mentally messed up, I dismissed stuff like this all the time.
Well, one of my favorite things in Belize, and I don't mean to overspeak, is our talks at night.
I love them.
after dinner.
I love
Every
them.
night we had them, and they lasted multiple hours. It was my favorite. And you talking, and then Drew doing his Drew thing of like quoting every book ever made, and then having Tim. But that was my favorite thing, and I learned so much from you guys.
Yeah,
and I felt so much from you guys. So I'm so glad you're here. Logan, carry on.
Oh no, I was gonna say, I love that. And then the way that, doing the breathwork session and all those different things. And so I loved your perspective of almost kind of like, ooh, we got to go into the jungle with a guy. Like this is kind of your wheelhouse a little bit. This is not anything new to you.
Yeah.
So we kind of got to have a little bit more of like the experienced experience. So to speak. And so that's why I was asking these questions is because it's like, I find myself kind of yearning for like the next level of kind of like, I feel like Tyson and I
very tempted.
like this journey that Tyson and I have been on, I feel like we've become, and I don't know, pat ourselves on the back or whatever, we've become very self-aware.
Yeah.
And I feel like that like emotional intelligence is like something that like, it's like when you hit a certain level of it, you're like, dang it, I got to be better here. I got to have this conversation. And then it's like it changes in how you have conversations with people and how you like look back at conversations and just your own personal growth and stuff. So I wanted to ask you that, not so much to just be like, oh, so did you trip balls? But kind of like, what did that do for you in your life? So after we've talked about that, like, why is it that you've gone and done it so many times? Like, what are you learning about yourself and like just the garden and humanity and everything in general?
There's layers to it.
Okay.
And the medicine will meet you where you are. And so there has been trauma in my background. And so part of the experiences has been releasing those out of my nervous system as well. What am I learning from it? You discover that you're an eternal soul. There's an essence to you that it was never born and will never die. That is forever, always. And you find out that, and you get to have experiences where you do meet deceased loved ones and have connection with them. And the experiences are on par with near-death experiences. Whoa. And so when ayahuasca, when you start feeling it come on, one of the things that's profound is it's pretty often to experience of dying in you. And what's profound of when you die, when drinking ayahuasca is it's profoundly familiar. Like, oh my gosh, I've done this.
Kind of almost like going home.
Oh, there's
type of feeling.
Yeah, not all experiences are like going home. Some experiences you have to rehash things out, but yes, yes, I've had experiences of your home.
Because I'm like, it's like the way my brain is working. It's like almost kind of like you're 8 years old and you're in the back of the van and and you fall asleep on the drive home and your body knows when it hits the last turn and you pull onto your street.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like it's like that weird feeling of you're just kind of like.
And at a very deep level.
Yeah, it's almost like deja vu of like, I've been here before.
Yeah. So one of the primary ingredients in ayahuasca or yahe is DMT or dimethyltryptamine. And it's said that when you're in the womb of your mother at about 90 days of gestation, the pineal gland releases the DMT. And they say that even mystics will tell you, mystics from India who practice the yogic traditions, they'll say that the soul enters the body right around the 90 days of gestation. And so the mystics they say they are not for abortion, so to speak, but they say if you're going to abort, do it before 90 days.
Interesting. Because it's kind of like the pineal gland is like the opening of the door to allow the soul in.
Yeah. I can tell you one experience that's very personal.
Okay.
I'm just to give you the realm of possibility.
Only if you're,
if
if it's not too personal.
So it's pretty personal, and we can edit this out of the show
100%
if we want
up to you.
to.
Oh no, we'll keep it if you want.
There was one experience, because we're talking about this, is so when you have these experiences, there's experiences where you have a complete review of your life. Mm-hmm. And I had an experience where I was taken back to before I was born into this life, this incarnation.
Interesting.
And I had this experience where I as a soul, I went and sat inside a woman's a mother who I'd be born into in her womb, and I got to see a review of what that life would unfold for me if I took that life. Oh. And then I sat in another woman's womb, and I got to see what this life would unfold and the lessons and the teachings that would happen if I was born through that woman, that line. And so I had an ayahuasca experience where I got to see before I was born, I had a variety of choices to make of which life to incarnate with. And you discover, which I've discovered, is you've lived multiple times. And for some religious tradition that contradicts them, but I'm not trying to contradict them, but it's a lived experience that I've had in ayahuasca is I got to see, so just to give you the scope of the experiences, and there's a lesson in it. And the lesson that the reason why ayahuasca, they don't show you this just because it's Hollywood and fireworks. They're showing you this to show you, ayahuasca was showing me why I chose this life.
Yeah.
And so when there was difficulties that's happened in my life, ayahuasca saying, let's take you back to when you chose this life. And so it took me back to before I was born, why I chose this life.
So you had that intention before you took it?
No, I didn't.
You didn't.
You just
I had another intention, but it took me here because I was like, why did I suffer this suffering? And so ayahuasca takes you back to your root, which is you wanted to learn compassion. You wanted to learn deep love, and you sat in the womb of your mother. And you had other choices, but you chose this womb that you'd be born into for these specific lessons.
I love that.
That's deep.
And that's what ayahuasca will show you.
Man.
And so that's deeply personal. Mm-hmm. That's probably the first time I've ever shared that publicly.
Well, thank you, because that's that hit me in a different way too.
No, that motivates me to let's go to Amazon.
I'm like, so Clayne, will you do me the honor of taking us to the jungle?
Should we organize a group?
Dude, I would totally go drink ayahuasca with you.
Okay, let's organize a group.
Let's get Aaron on board. Let's make it a dad bods thing.
Yeah.
Are we allowed?
I don't know. There's probably some. I don't know. Aaron figures everything out. He's a genie.
Of course, you can talk about it.
Yeah.
And it's part of their culture. And
I've listened.
No, I'm talking about America. Hey, guess what? We're going to go out of the country to break.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. It's not. If it's. I mean, it's not legal.
fine.
I mean, it's like. I think if you
I
go.
think there's a lot of things that aren't legal in the world. Nah, should I say this? Yeah.
You can say it.
Because the pharmaceutical companies don't allow it.
1,000%. You know how much I love conspiracy theories? Uh-huh. I'm 100% convinced that there are some natural occurring psychedelics or just plant medicines and things like that are 100% banned here because it literally takes you to a higher level of enlightenment and self-decision.
Oh, and can actually heal you.
Exactly. And pushing you off from
antidepressants.
Being controlled.
Yeah. I mean, speaking of antidepressants, look at the research of Johns Hopkins University with psilocybin mushrooms. They were authorized in year 2000 by the government to do it. So Google Johns Hopkins University if anybody wants to.
Shrooms.
That does a far more effective job than what's found in pharmaceuticals.
I believe it. I really, really do.
Gosh, I wish we had a little bit more time, Clayne. We're going to have to get you back because this is really cool. But I'm serious.
I did not mean to talk about this the whole time, but I'm okay. I was really interested. And I know if I'm interested, that means there's a lot of people interested.
But that's where I think that's where the way that the show kind of goes sometimes is it kind of goes where it naturally you obviously know your stuff when it comes to this. You've had so much, he knows his stuff with a lot of
things.
Your journey that you've shared and the experiences that you've shared, because even though we talked about ayahuasca for a good chunk of the time, what you shared beforehand and after shows that it's not just this faddish thing, that it's something that you've been on this journey for quite a while.
Yeah.
And it's helped you get to the point where I maybe dumbed it down, but it's you're saying super chill. I would almost say it's content in the decisions in the life that you are leading.
Yeah.
And that to me seems so peaceful.
It is.
And it seems so fulfilling. And I feel like we can all agree with it. Like, we feel like things happen to us in this life. And then there's people who think that when things happen, you just roll with the punches and you're like, what am I supposed to learn from this? And then it's almost like, don't you do that. Don't act like I have a choice. And like, this happened to me and I want to be hurt. And so it's like, I want to like.
I just had that conversation
victim
today
story.
I had a conversation today about that with someone.
And so I wanted to.
Logan knows what it's about.
I just want to and I want to thank you for taking the time to come up here and talk about this stuff and come with us to Belize and becoming a friend of not just us and the show and all that stuff, but just like taking your time to share like the personal stories and like give the shedding the light on things that like can improve people's lives.
Absolutely.
So you've 100%. I've wanted to kind of like experience more outside of my typical life, and this like literally just like shook me of like, oh my gosh, I got to get out more.
Yeah.
Quite literally.
Absolutely.
So
traveling opens your mind.
Yeah, maybe you can take us to the jungle.
Let's do it.
No, I'm not joking.
I'm dead serious.
Let's put a group together.
I would 100%.
Let's put a target month and let's make it happen.
Yeah, let's nail it down. So, Mr. Clayne Edward Wayman, thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Remind me again the name of your book.
Echoes of Resounding Love.
And you can find it where?
A true story of a polygamist kid's journey to spiritual awakening.
Wow.
That's the subtitle. Find it on the best bookstore is Amazon.com.
Okay.
You can find it anywhere.
Are you... Is it digital? Is there
all the above? You could do hard copy, softbound, or a Kindle.
Have you done audio yet?
I've had many requests for audio. I just haven't sat in studio and done it yet.
Logan is doing my audio for my book because we've been asked.
I'm gonna slip F-bombs in there where he doesn't know.
Okay, yeah. So, yeah, it just needs to get done.
Talk to Aaron. He's got a whole thing. He can do it here.
You could do it here.
Oh, yeah. This whole back room.
Yeah.
That's where Logan, and then we're going to come do a podcast version of each chapter.
And I'm currently working on my second book.
Good for
Awesome.
you.
Yep.
Well, go check that out. And then if you're looking for mortgages as well,
Mortgage. Oh yeah. By
mortgage
the way,
finance. Hit him up. Yeah, so, dude, Clayne, thank you so much for coming. This was an absolute pleasure.
Thank you.
So, and
True
dude,
honor.
I'm freaking jealous of your boots.
Oh, thank you.
I love your boots. I'm a boot guy too, even though I'm also a sneaker guy. So
Thank you.
yeah, check
I've
out
never
Clayne's
owned
book.
a pair of boots.
What's that?
I've never owned a pair of boots.
Never
I'm gonna
owned a
get
pair
you
of
some
boots.
boots.
No, because my feet are so wide.
They make wides and they make extra wides. They're great. So, anyways, check out Clayne's book. We'll tag it all in the show notes and everything like that. And
Toodles.
But I was going to say, check outside your sphere of what your daily life is like. Look outside your life and try to find a new experience. That's kind of
Check
where
these
I'm taking
veins
from
out.
this.
That's all I got to say.
Yep.
So, all right, guys, love
ya.
you. We will
Toodles.
check you next week.
Thank you.
Toodles.